Good morning, everyone. So appreciate you being here with us at 7 o'clock. I'm Tracey McCain.
And I'm Caitlin Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. We do have a lot to talk about this morning, but first, we want to say hello to meteorologist Scott Gagliardi for a check on your first alert forecast. Not a great day, Scott.
It's not. No. Once again, we're not seeing that sunshine.
Yeah, we just have to hang on, though, right?
One more day.
Okay.
This time tomorrow, we are going to be loving the weather.
Oh, good.
The best we've seen in quite some time.
I'm going to hold you to it.
You will.
Okay.
And I'm going to live up to it. I promise you that. What we're seeing out there right now, though, is plenty of fog, especially along the shoreline. Here's New London. It's a foggy start to the day, 71 degrees, even over through New Haven. Notice that fog out there making difficulty driving issues at times. There is a dense fog advisory from about the New Haven Harbor all the way towards the Rhode Island state border and mostly in Long Island Sound. But right along the shoreline, we are seeing those issues. And you see on our visibility map, Chester right now 0, a quarter mile in Groton, half-mile in New Haven. A bit better when you head farther inland, but still some patchy fog there as well. Temperatures certainly on the warmer side, 75 degrees in Windsor Lock, 75 in Bridgeport, 75 degrees in New Haven. The dew point is still off the charts. This will change tomorrow morning. We're looking at dew points in the 50s and plenty of sunshine to start your Friday. A great end to the week, and it will last through the weekend. We're tracking this cold front. It could bring a couple showers, maybe a storm for part of our area, but it's very limited. 10 to 20% of us see it. We'll actually see some sunshine in western parts of our state. The very latest, though, on what we can expect throughout the weekend and the possibility of that next heat wave. That's all coming up with your full first alert forecast. Good morning, Kate.
Hey, good morning, Scott. Good morning, everyone. Let's get you a check on those roads. If you're heading out the door, your drive times and speeds actually looking pretty typical for this time of morning. We've got some normal delays down through Fairfield County, 95 southbound, and the Parkway. We're going to start to see some of those delays build through the capital city region as well, but we remain in traffic alert mode here this morning because we're still following some issues across the state. Crash in Bethany that has Route 69 closed at Woodcutters Drive, and then we are seeing some improvement here through Meriden 691 eastbound. We have a lane back open here between exits 2A and 1B. This is all due to an earlier tractor trailer fire, so you can see that that remains on scene, but again, that far left-hand lane is back open, so we do have traffic flowing back at this time, and then traffic still that is getting off and being detoured off of exit 2A. That's the old exit 8. So there's two options for you. You can take that left-hand lane that's back open or the detour off of exit 2A. So traffic trying to move through. We've seen some substantial delays through the area this morning because it was closed for such a long time, just about 6 hours from overnight. No injuries reported, but again, a very long duration road closure from the overnight hours. I'm Caitlin Francis with your Connecticut Chevy First Alert Traffic Report, driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
Well, President Biden talked with the nation about his decision to step away from re-election efforts and endorse Vice President Kamala Harris for the Democratic presidential nomination.
So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation.
Biden said he plans to stay in office until the new president is inaugurated in January. Meanwhile, Vice President Harris set to deliver a keynote address in Houston today at the annual meeting of the American Federation of Teachers.
President Biden laid out his plans for the rest of his term in a historic address last night. Trump, meanwhile, tuned in while leaving his rally in North Carolina. While speaking to supporters, the former president focused his attacks on Vice President Harris, who we assume will be the Democratic nominee.
Lion Kamala Harris has been the ultra-liberal driving force behind every single Biden catastrophe.
Meanwhile, sources familiar with the vetting process say Vice President Harris is considering about a dozen possible running mates. They include governors, members of Congress, current cabinet secretaries. Harris is expected to make her pick public sometime before August 7th. If no challenger emerges against her, the DNC could vote on the nomination as soon as August 1st.
Well, the Bethany director of Parks and Rec has resigned, and her assistant is on paid leave after a former employee was arrested and accused of sexually abusing children. Town board members met last night, came up with a plan going forward. Eyewitness News reporter Luke Hydash breaks it down for us in Bethany.
Good morning. This was a meeting that went on for hours. A bulk of it was in executive session. Things didn't wrap up here at Bethany Town Hall until close to midnight, and you had town leaders taking some accountability and apologizing to the people of Bethany. This is all over how the town handled the arrest of former Parks and Rec employee Anthony Mastrangelo. He is charged with sexually assaulting multiple children in town. Last night, his boss, the Parks and Rec director, Janice Howard, she was placed on paid administrative leave, but when she found that out, she resigned, and the first selectwoman of Bethany apologized.
A culture within our local government that existed for decades, the failure to perform our functions in accordance with the law and to remain compliant, exposed all of us being harmed by someone with ill intention under our misguided belief that something like this could never happen in our small town.
Howard retained her own lawyers throughout all of this. Today, they will meet with town leaders here in Bethany to determine when that resignation will take effect. In Bethany, Luke Hydash, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
All right, in a separate case here, a former school employee accused of having a sexual relationship with an 11-year-old boy is now facing federal charges. The FBI claims Allison Cranick used Discord, an internet chat service, to coerce the minor. They say the boy, who was a student at Horace Porter School in Columbia, where Cranick worked, would sneak out of his house once or twice a week to meet up with her. She's even accused of making a beaded bracelet for the boy with an acronym that stands for Best Friends Forever for a life with benefits. Cranick remains in custody. If convicted, she could face life in prison.
The woman accused of killing her husband and then continuing to deposit his paychecks was found dead just hours before her sentencing yesterday. 76-year-old Linda Kasuda Bagazi pleaded guilty to killing her husband back in 2017 at their home in Burlington. He had worked as a UConn health pathology professor. Police say his wife kept his body in the basement and collected his paychecks. Police have not revealed how she died.
Well, this morning, a 2-year-old child is recovering after being shot in the town of Monroe. The little boy was shot on his hand and foot inside his own home on Wheeler Road Tuesday night. The toddler is now out of surgery and is recovering at a hospital. Police are trying to figure out what led up to the gun going off. They tell us this investigation is ongoing, but charges could be coming.
A dog in Avon thrown out of a moving car is in recovery this morning after a successful surgery. This shocking crime is just the latest case of animal abuse involving criminals dumping dogs here in Connecticut.
Eyewitness News reporter Olivia Schuler joins us now to tell us more about what happened and why police need your help.
Hey guys, good morning. Well, a 1-year-old puppy named Amelia Earhart by Avon Control officials was reportedly thrown from a moving vehicle near Petco on West Avon Road on Tuesday. Now, sadly, the pup had a broken pelvis in 4 places. The surgery cost $6,000, but fortunately, the community rallied behind Avon Animal Control with supporting donations. Animal Control says on Wednesday, Amelia underwent a successful surgery. However, she still needs to be spayed and requires a hernia removal. This is just one of the latest cases of animal abuse. Across the state, we're seeing animal shelters overwhelmed with the amount of dogs dumped and abandoned. Now, during these summer months, Hartford, Burlington and Canton and Meriden have voiced their concerns and frustrations. They're finding dogs chained up to poles, left in apartments and on the streets. Now, a reminder to those at home, if you can't take care of your dog, find it another shelter or home to go to.
You've got resources. Animal Control, Humane Society, a friend, reach out. There are so many foster shelters. There are alternative methods to cruelty.
Now, Amelia is doing better. However, police are still on the search for the driver involved in this incident. Police are looking for a blue SUV, and any information that you may have, give Avon Police Department a call. In studio, Olivia Schuler, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a controversial visit to Capitol Hill, where he delivered a fiery speech asking for U.S. support in his fight against terror. He is hoping to bolster support for the war against Hamas, a war Israel sees as a fight for survival after the October 7th terror attack. Speaking before a joint meeting of Congress, he unveiled a plan for Gaza's future after the war.
Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza, but for the foreseeable future, we must retain overriding security control there to prevent the resurgence of terror, to ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
Some lawmakers sent a message of their own and chose not to attend. Others sat in a silent protest during the speech. They're protesting Netanyahu's leadership in the face of international pressure for a ceasefire in Gaza. Outside of the Capitol, thousands of angry protesters converged and also burned an American flag.
Before speaking at the Capitol, Netanyahu attended a memorial service for former Connecticut Senator Joe Lieberman. Lieberman died in March at the age of 82. Former Vice President Mike Pence joined several lawmakers at that service. Senator Lieberman, who was born in Stamford, was Connecticut's Attorney General before running for Congress and then becoming a senator.
Wall Street is dealing with the fallout of a wipeout as stocks suffered the worst losses since 2022. The Dow closed down more than 500 points to end yesterday's trading at 39,853. Analysts say poor quarterly earnings reports from tech giants like Google and Tesla fueled that drop. The electric car maker's stock lost 12% after reporting a 40% plunge in profits. All right, some new video out of California to show you this morning. A raging wildfire has forced evacuations in the city of Chico.
So far, the fire has scorched nearly 6,500 acres, and firefighters have only been able to contain about 3% of it.
Fire officials say this rapidly spreading fire sparked just before 3 yesterday afternoon. It's not clear how it started.